Welcome to Volume and Vision. Picture this exact moment. It is 6 a.m. on a freezing Tuesday morning. Your alarm goes off with a sharp, piercing beep. Your bed is warm, your eyes are heavy, and every single nerve ending in your body is screaming at you to stay right where you are. You know you should get up. You promised yourself last night that today was going to be the day you took control of your health, your career, your habits, and your life. But within 5 brief seconds, your hand reaches out from under the blanket, hits the snooze button, and instantly surrenders your potential before your day has even begun. This is not just about missing a morning workout or sleeping in for 20 extra minutes. It is a subtle, recurring pattern of self-sabotage. It is the exact moment where your goals are delayed, your momentum is crushed, and another life-changing opportunity slips through your fingers. Now, rewind that exact scene. Imagine the exact instant your alarm goes off. Instead of debating with yourself, you count backward out loud. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you launch out of bed like a rocket. No debate, no internal negotiation, no room for fear, self-doubt, or laziness. You just move. What if I told you that this simple, 5-second countdown is not just a clever productivity trick, but a scientifically proven psychological catalyst capable of rewiring your entire life? In the next few minutes, you are going to discover the exact mental mechanism that keeps 99% of people trapped in inaction, procrastination, and self-doubt, and more importantly, how you can use a simple countdown sequence to instantly bypass your brain's defense systems and force yourself into massive, consistent action. To truly understand why this countdown mechanism works with such radical power, you have to look at how it was born out of complete rock bottom. Imagine being 41 years old, completely unemployed, drowning under a mountain of debt, watching your marriage fracture under severe financial stress, and suffering from paralyzing anxiety every single morning. Every night, you lie awake promising yourself that tomorrow will be the day you turn it all around. But every morning, when the alarm rings, your mind panics, your fear takes over, and your hand hits the snooze button over and over again. Then, late one night, while staring blankly at a television screen numb from exhaustion, a commercial appears. On the screen is a massive rocket sitting on a launch pad. The speakers rumble as a voice counts down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, liftoff. Massive flames burst from the engines, and the rocket instantly propels itself into the sky. A ridiculous, tiny thought sparks in the darkness. What if I launched myself out of bed tomorrow morning just like that rocket? No thinking, no waiting for motivation, no negotiating. Just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and launch. The very next morning at 6 a.m., when the alarm sounded, the familiar wave of dread and exhaustion hit. The impulse to hit snooze was overwhelmingly strong. But instead of letting that impulse win, she counted backward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and physically stood up. She did not wait for motivation to strike. She did not wait to feel ready. She did not give her brain even a fraction of a second to invent an excuse. That tiny, ridiculous moment of physical action was the precise birth of a life-changing psychological rule. Why does counting backward from 5 to 1 work when traditional willpower, goal setting, and motivational speeches fail? The answer lies deep inside the biological structure of your brain. Your brain is not designed to make you successful, rich, healthy, or fulfilled. Your brain is fundamentally designed to keep you safe, comfortable, and alive. It is a biological survival machine that treats anything unfamiliar, uncomfortable, risky, or difficult as a direct threat to your existence. Whenever you face a challenging task, whether it is stepping up to speak in a room full of people, making an uncomfortable phone call, initiating a tough conversation, or simply pushing yourself out of a warm bed, your brain detects friction. The very instant you hesitate, even for 2 seconds, your brain notices that friction and immediately triggers an emergency defense mechanism known as the hesitation reflex. Your subconscious mind jumps into action and begins flooding your thoughts with rationalizations and excuses. It whispers, "You are too tired today. What if you make a mistake? People will judge you. You can always start tomorrow when you feel more prepared." Within seconds, your rational mind is completely hijacked by fear and comfort-seeking instincts, and you talk yourself right out of taking action. When you count backward from 5 to 1, you execute a brilliant psychological maneuver known as a pattern interrupt. Counting backward requires absolute focus from your prefrontal cortex, the logical, executive decision-making engine of your brain. By focusing on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you instantly disrupt the automatic emotional circuitry of your brain. You create a tiny, sacred window of metacognition, a split second where your conscious, goal-oriented mind takes complete command of your physical body before your hesitation reflex can sabotage you. Think about how this plays out in real, everyday life. You are sitting in an important strategic meeting. An innovative idea comes to your mind, but your heart starts racing and self-doubt creeps in. Do not wait for the self-doubt to grow. Count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and raise your hand. You are sitting on the couch after a long, exhausting workday, knowing you need to hit the gym, but the television is comforting. Count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stand up to put on your running shoes. You are staring at a massive, overwhelming work project, paralyzed by where to begin. Count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, open the document, and type the very first word. The biggest lie society has sold you is that successful people possess superior motivation or relentless willpower. The truth is that motivation is a complete myth. Motivation is a fleeting emotional state that vanishes the moment things get difficult, cold, uncomfortable, or scary. If you wait until you feel motivated to work hard, build a business, write a book, or fix your life, you will spend your entire existence waiting on the sidelines. Courage and confidence are never prerequisites for action. They are the direct, undeniable side effects of taking action. You do not wait to feel confident before you step forward. You step forward, survive the discomfort, and earn your confidence through physical proof. The countdown serves as your immediate ignition switch. It completely eliminates the reliance on emotional feelings and replaces them with decisive, unshakable momentum. To make this concept crystal clear, let us examine the neuroscience behind your daily choices. Your mind constantly operates in two primary modes, the subconscious emotional system and the conscious prefrontal system. The emotional center, anchored by the limbic system, acts as your autopilot. It reacts instantly, seeks immediate pleasure, avoids pain, and craves routine. This is the exact region responsible for anxiety, procrastination, overeating, and emotional outbursts. On the other hand, your prefrontal cortex is where your highest potential lies. It controls strategic planning, self-discipline, long-term goal alignment, and impulse control. When you live on autopilot, your limbic system dictates your life, making decisions based purely on how you feel in the present moment. But when you speak the countdown sequence out loud or in your mind, you actively shift brain activity away from the emotional limbic system and directly engage the prefrontal cortex. You force your brain out of autopilot and regain absolute agency over your choices. Psychologists rely on a foundational framework known as behavioral activation. This principle proves that taking physical action, even when you are filled with fear, anxiety, or zero motivation, immediately shifts your internal state. You do not think your way into a new way of acting, you act your way into a new way of thinking. Action creates momentum, momentum creates competence, and competence creates unstoppable self-belief. Every single time you catch yourself hesitating and immediately count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to move forward, you perform a mental repetition. Just like performing a physical rep in the gym builds muscle fibers, executing this countdown builds your mental action muscle. Through the miraculous phenomenon of neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to rewire its physical connections based on repeated behavior, you literally re-engineer your neural architecture. Over time, hesitation ceases to be your default state, and immediate, decisive action becomes your natural way of living. Now that we have uncovered the biological and neurological architecture behind this strategy, let us explore exactly how you can apply it to solve the 5 greatest friction points in your life. Conquering procrastination, mastering your daily routine, overcoming social fear, breaking toxic reactive habits, and seizing life-changing opportunities. The first major challenge is procrastination. Most people mistakenly believe that procrastination is a flaw in time management or a sign of sheer laziness. In reality, modern psychology proves that procrastination is an emotional coping mechanism designed to escape stress, fear of failure, perfectionism, or boredom. When you stare at a massive project, a complex coding challenge, or a difficult financial spreadsheet, your brain registers the task as a threat to comfort. It seeks fast emotional relief by driving you toward distractions like social media, video games, or unnecessary chores. The moment you catch yourself reaching for your phone to avoid a demanding task, execute the pattern interrupt immediately, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and focus on micro execution. Do not worry about completing the entire 5-hour project in one sitting. Simply use the countdown to force yourself to write one sentence, open one file, or solve one basic line of logic. By taking a microscopic physical step, you bypass the psychological wall of starting, and once you break that initial inertia, natural momentum takes over to keep you moving forward. The second application is establishing absolute control over your mornings. How you handle the very first decision of your day establishes the psychological trajectory for every choice that follows. When your alarm rings and you hit snooze, you begin your day by making a promise to yourself and immediately breaking it. You tell your subconscious mind that your comfort is more important than your ambitions. By using the countdown sequence the moment your alarm sounds, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, feet on the floor, you claim an instant victory over comfort. That single win instills an underlying sense of discipline that carries straight into your work, your focus, and your decisions until you go to bed. The third area is conquering social anxiety and stepping up when it matters most. Consider the story of a software engineer named Alex. Alex possessed brilliant analytical skills and routinely came up with creative architecture solutions during deep work hours. During live team syncs and executive reviews, Alex remained completely quiet. Every time he felt the urge to speak up, his heart rate would skyrocket, his throat would tighten, and a wave of self-doubt would wash over him. What if my solution is flawed? What if I stumble over my words? What if my peers think I am unqualified? Alex spent years waiting for a magical day when he would wake up feeling brave enough to speak without fear. That day never came because waiting for fear to disappear before taking action is a statistical impossibility. When Alex learned to use the countdown, everything transformed. The very next time a critical design flaw was debated in a meeting, Alex felt the familiar spike of adrenaline and anxiety. Instead of letting his mind negotiate, he counted backward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, raised his hand, and voiced his perspective. His delivery was far from perfect, and his voice trembled slightly, but he delivered the insight. Over the next 6 weeks, Alex repeated this exact countdown every single time he felt hesitation in a meeting. Within 3 months, his colleagues began actively seeking his technical guidance, and his team leadership appointed him to direct a major system migration. Alex did not wait for confidence to arrive before taking action. He acted his way into confidence, one 5-second decision at a time. The fourth crucial application is disrupting destructive, reactive habits. Bad habits operate on a deeply ingrained automatic loop. A trigger leads to a routine, which delivers a quick dopamine reward. When you experience high stress, your automatic routine might be snapping at a family member, overeating junk food, or spending hours aimlessly scrolling on your phone. The countdown sequence functions as a powerful circuit breaker between the trigger and the automatic reaction. The second you feel the urge to engage in a toxic pattern, count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That 5-second pause gives your conscious prefrontal cortex the necessary breathing room to evaluate the impulse and deliberately choose a constructive, self-respecting response instead. The fifth application is taking decisive leaps toward new growth opportunities. Whether it is applying for an ambitious new role, pitching a startup idea to potential investors, launching a long-cherished creative channel, or pursuing a personal goal that terrifies you, uncertainty will always generate heavy psychological resistance. If you wait for complete certainty or total approval from those around you, you will remain perpetually stuck in place. The countdown sequence acts as your ultimate ignition system, allowing you to cross the abyss between passive wishing and physical execution before your mind can talk you into staying safe. Despite the profound simplicity of this approach, several predictable roadblocks can disrupt your consistency if you are unprepared for them. The first obstacle is simply forgetting to use the tool when friction arises. Because hesitation is deeply wired into your subconscious habits, your mind naturally defaults to the path of least resistance during stressful moments. To combat this, establish physical environmental cues. Place prominent reminders on your desk, set visual phone lock screens, or keep sticky notes near places where you routinely hesitate. External visual triggers force your conscious mind to remember the strategy until immediate action becomes your new baseline habit. The second obstacle is the subtle trap of intellectual arrogance, believing that a tool so simple cannot possibly produce profound structural changes. Many people endlessly search for complicated frameworks, elaborate morning routines, and high-tech productivity systems, using complexity as a hidden form of procrastination. The undeniable truth is that long-term success is never built on overly complex plans. It is built on radical consistency in execution. Did you take the necessary action today, or did you make excuses? Simplicity removes friction and makes daily follow-through effortless. The third obstacle is expecting fear, nervousness, or self-doubt to disappear completely. Using a countdown sequence does not magically erase human emotion, it equips you to operate effectively right alongside it. Fear is not a signal to retreat, it is a physiological indicator that you are expanding your boundaries and stepping into unfamiliar territory. When you accept that discomfort is a natural companion to personal growth, you stop letting fear dictate your choices. The fourth obstacle is slipping back into old patterns of delay after a period of high consistency. Slipping up is a completely natural aspect of building any new habit. When you experience a day or a week where you fall back into overthinking or hitting snooze, avoid falling into negative self-talk or concluding that you have failed. Simply recognize the lapse without emotional judgment, reset your focus, count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and resume taking immediate action right where you are. The fifth obstacle is experiencing paralysis when faced with multiple confusing choices. When you are uncertain about the absolute best move to make, analysis paralysis can completely freeze your progress. You must realize that absolute clarity is never found through passive thinking or endless debate. True clarity is created exclusively through physical action. Select the single most logical step available to you right now, count down, execute, observe the results, and refine your direction based on real-world feedback rather than imaginary assumptions. Beyond daily productivity and tactical execution, the relentless use of this countdown sequence fundamentally restructures your self-concept, your character, and your identity. Psychology describes a powerful developmental concept known as the confidence-competence loop. Most people live under the illusion that confidence is an inherent personality trait that some people are born with while others are denied. The reality is that true confidence is a side effect of action, built brick by brick through accumulated evidence of your own reliability. When you force yourself to act despite feeling afraid or unprepared, you gain a small amount of competence. That competence provides undeniable proof to your brain that you are capable, which elevates your self-efficacy and inspires you to take even larger actions. Confidence is not something you wait to feel, it is something you actively build through micro-decisions of courage. Consider the story of an individual named Marcus, who spent years trapped in a cycle of chronic overthinking. Marcus was highly intelligent, constantly reading books, outlining strategic business models, and drafting ambitious study protocols in his journals. However, despite his vast knowledge, he rarely completed anything. Every time he sat down to execute a major project, hesitation took over, whispering that his work was not perfect enough or that he needed to gather more information before starting. Marcus felt trapped in a self-fulfilling identity as a chronic overthinker who lacked real-world follow-through. When Marcus adopted the countdown strategy, he stopped focusing on huge, intimidating outcomes and shifted his entire focus to micro-actions. Whenever he caught himself over-analyzing a single email, delaying a technical code review, or putting off a workout, he counted backward, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and forced his hands to move. Within 30 days, he cleared out months of accumulated backlogs, launched his first personal project draft, and maintained an unbroken study routine. More importantly, his underlying identity underwent a complete transformation. He no longer viewed himself as a passive overthinker who was stuck on the sidelines. He recognized himself as a decisive, action-oriented individual who executes when it counts. Every single decision you make throughout your day acts as an active vote for the type of person you are becoming. When your alarm rings and you immediately get up, you cast a vote for self-discipline. When you raise your hand to speak in an intimidating setting, you cast a vote for courage. When you close your laptop to go exercise when you feel tired, you cast a vote for long-term health. Over time, these individual votes compound, shifting your internal narrative from reactive to proactive, and from passive to empowered. Your brain is constantly adapting through neuroplasticity, strengthening the neural pathways you use most frequently. If you practice hesitation, delay, and self-doubt every single day, your brain builds powerful, automatic highways dedicated to inaction. However, if you practice counting down and taking immediate physical action, your brain builds robust neural circuits centered on resilience, focus, and drive. Action becomes your new automatic baseline response to friction. Real, lasting transformation does not happen through a single heroic event or a temporary burst of inspiration. It is forged through quiet, unglamorous, repeated daily choices made in moments when nobody else is watching. You do not need an elaborate plan, perfect conditions, or external permission to change your life. You only need to take total ownership of the immediate 5-second window right in front of you. The gap between where you currently stand and where you want to be is filled entirely by the decisions you make when discomfort arises. Every goal you have postponed, every conversation you have avoided, and every habit you desire to build lives right on the other side of taking immediate action. The next time you feel hesitation creeping in, when your alarm sounds, when your heart races before a pivotal moment, or when you feel the pull to postpone a critical task, remember that you are always one 5-second decision away from a completely different life. Interrupt the hesitation, bypass the excuses, count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move forward. Thank you for tuning into Volume and Vision. If you found this session valuable, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into personal growth, strategy breakdowns, and actionable ideas. Keep taking action, keep pushing forward, and we will see you in the next episode.